Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah. So welcome everyone. We are discussing from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So we have completed chapter 9 yesterday, and we saw various limbs of devotional service. The 64 limbs of devotional service are described by Srila Rupa Goswami, and this is the 10th chapter where further limbs will be described, and this chapter Prabhupada entitles as Techniques of Hearing and Remembering. So in this chapter, there are only 4 devotional principles they are described, but these 4 principles, they form the basis of our devotional consciousness. So that's why Srila Prabhupada has dedicated this whole chapter just for these 4 very important limbs of devotional service, that is hearing, expecting the mercy of the Lord, remembering the Lord, and meditating on the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada and Srila Rupa Goswami has also described this extensively, quoting various scriptures, how hearing and meditation is the most important part of our devotional activity. Whatever we are doing in the devotional service, it is all based on Shravanam. So therefore the 37th limb, 43rd limb, sorry, is the hearing process, atha Shravanam. So as the beginners of Krishna consciousness, we have to focus on hearing, and as we become advanced in Krishna consciousness, we have to still focus on hearing only. So therefore Prabhupada writes that beginning of Krishna consciousness and devotional service is hearing, and it's called as Sanskrit in it's called Shravanam in the Sanskrit language, Prabhupada writes. And there Prabhupada writes, all people should be given the chance to come and join devotional service so that they may be able to hear about Krishna. Because this hearing process is the most important for the for the progressive advancement on this path of Krishna consciousness. So therefore, when we hear, and this verse says hearing means listen, we have to hear what? Listening to the name, pastimes, and the qualities of the Lord. So that is these are the various limbs of hearing. We have to hear about the Nam, Guna, Rupa, and Leela of the Lord. Name, form, pastimes, and the qualities of the Lord. Because when we hear the pastimes of the Lord, then sound vibration enters the ears. It purifies the heart of all the contaminated consciousness. Pravishtah karna randrena swanam bhavasaroruham dhunoti shamalam Krishna salilasya yatha sharat. Just like when the autumnal rains they come, they cleanse everything. Similarly, when pure Krishna katha enters the ears, it purifies the mind of all the contaminations. So Bhagavatam describes that Pibanti ye Bhagavat Atmana Katham Kathamritam Shravanaputeshu Sambhritam Punanti te Vishaya Vidushitashayam Brajanti Tacharana Saroruhantikam. Pibanti, those devotees, Bhagavatas, those who drink the nectar of Krishna Katha, Kathamritam Shravanaputeshu, with this nectar, they drink this nectar of Harikatha through their ears. What is the result? Punanti te Vishaya Vidushitashayam. Punanti means they become purified of the polluted aims of life. At present, our life has so many aims, so many goals, but these are all polluted goals, because when we pursue these goals, they make our mind more and more obsessed with the desire to enjoy this world. So that's why it is described, these goals, they pollute the aim of our life. But when we hear about Krishna, then we get purified. The desire for sense gratification goes. Vrajanti tacharana saroruhantikam. And we can reside, we can attain that same place where Krishna is residing to serve him. So therefore, Prabhupada writes that Lord Chaitanya has affirmed that this hearing is a very important process. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. So this is a process which starts by hearing the names of the Lord. When we chant and hear. Somebody asked Prabhupada, what do you have to do or think when we are chanting? Prabhupada said we don't have to do anything, we don't have to think anything when we are chanting. What we have to do, we have to just chant and hear. That's all. Shravanam, we have to hear the names of the Lord. So therefore, Prahlad Maharaj, he described in his prayers, there are 9 limbs of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. So these are the 9 limbs of devotional service, and it starts with Shravanam. So Shravanam is a beginning in the process of Krishna consciousness, and we have to hear from serious advanced devotees. So therefore, when we hear from advanced devotees about Krishna, that is called Shravanam. And at the same time, we have to hear about the devotees of the Lord also. That hearing is also equally powerful. When we hear about the glories of the devotees, we become more and more inspired to practice Krishna consciousness. So therefore, hearing the devotees' qualities is also important. And then the 3 types of Shravanam are described. First is Nama Shravanam. Tatra Nama Shravanam. And this is described in Garuda Purana. So in Garuda Purana, it is described that hearing the Vaishnava mantra Krishna, which is the only effective medicine to counteract the bite of the snake of samsara, a man becomes liberated. So therefore, in this material world, this sound is the most powerful thing in this entire creation. The creation began with the sound vibration. In the beginning, there was a sound, Om, Tapa. That was a sound Brahmaji heard. And then the whole creation process evolves from subtle to gross. From the ether, the sound comes, and the whole process continues. So therefore, it is described here just like the bite of the snake is counteracted by the power of mantras. Prabhupada writes in one of the purports that still there are people who can cure snake bite by chanting mantras. And one of our devotees, he came from Africa, he was sharing that he personally saw in Africa also there are people who know this art of curing snake bite by just chanting of mantras. So he was called because some person was bitten by snake. So this person, he went, and then he told, okay, he chanted some mantras in the ear of this person, and then he gave him neem leaves to eat. And he said, kaisa lag raha hai? I said, are sweet lag raha hai. He said, no, 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 no. He chanted more. Again he told him to eat sweets, neem leaves. He gave him neem leaves. Now how is it tasting? Still sweet. No, no, no. Again he did 4-5 times, and ultimately the neem leaves started tasting bitter. So somebody asked him, what is this process which you are doing? So he said, actually, the mantras, they are the actual medicine. These neem leaves is just the uh, proof that okay, now the mantra is acting, because till the time the poison of the snake is there in the blood, the neem leaves taste bitter. So Prabhupada is quoting here, Rupa Goswami is quoting here this Garuda Puran, where it says that one can counteract the poison of this material world. So this chanting of the holy names is so very powerful. Even if somebody chants unknowingly, there is the glories of the holy name are unlimited. In the case of Ajamil, it is described when the Ajamil, he chanted the names Narayan. He was not calling Lord Narayan, he was calling his son. But our Acharya says that Lord Narayan, he is so very pleased to hear his name, that even if somebody is not chanting his name, but still Lord Narayan feels that, oh, he's chanting my name. Although he's not calling me, but still he's chanting my name. So therefore he immediately sent his Vishnu Dutas. And ultimately, Vishnu Dutas, they defeated these Yam Dutas in argument, and the Yam Dutas, they went back. And then these Yam Dutas, when they went to Yamaraj, They started complaining, oh, how many creators are there? How many controllers are there? We thought you are the only controller. So then Yamraj, he said, oh my dear sons, namocharan mahatmyam hare pashyat putraka ajamilopi yenaiva mrityu pashad amuchyata. So Yamraj is telling to his these Yamdutas, O Putraka, O my dear sons, in a very loving way. He's saying, just see the glorious nature of the holy name. Just see the power of holy names. Nam Ucharan Mahatmya. Just see the glory of the holy name of Lord Narayan. Ajamilopi, even Ajamil, who was so sinful. Throughout life, he committed all sinful activities. He also got liberated from this clutches of death. And then Yamaraj describes few more details and glories of the holy name. He says, even if somebody is chanting, not referring to Krishna, even if somebody is chanting the syllables of Lord's names, he also gets benefited. And in one of the scriptures it is quoted, damshtra hato malecho harameti punah punah uktvapi muktim apnoti kim punah shraddhaya grinan. So it is described that there was one time a Malecha. He went to respond to the nature's call. And as he responded, there was a wild boar who came charging at him and he attacked him because he wanted to eat stool. But he hit that person so hard. So this person, Damshtra Hato, he was hit by the tusk of this wild boar. So he started giving him gali. Haram, haram, haram. So punah punah, he was again and again saying, because he was in so much of pain. And in that way, he left his body, in that consciousness. Harameti punah punah. But what was the result of this pronunciation? Uktvapi muktim apnoti. He also got liberated. Kim punah shraddhaya grinan. What to speak of if somebody is chanting with faith? And it is described that even if somebody is chanting, taking names of God, names of Krishna in a joking way, just like when we are walking on the road, somebody points, Arey, just see, oh, Hare Krishna wala ja raha hai. He's not calling Krishna and Hare. Hare Krishna people are going. Somebody, in college, some of our friends, they make fun of us. Oh, kya Hare Krishna kar raha hai, itna Krishna Krishna. Parihasyam va. Even if somebody is making fun of us. Stobham. Stobham means if somebody is taking the names of God for a musical entertainment, Chalo, we'll go to temple, we'll dance in kirtan. Oh, maja aata hai, dancing karna. Even if he's not attracted to Krishna, he's attracted to the dancing. Stobham, musical entertainment. Helanam eva, even if somebody is criticizing while chanting the names. What is the result? Vaikuntha Nam Grahanan. He is taking the names of Lord Vaikuntha. The result is Ashesh Agha Haram Vidu. He becomes freed from all the sins. That is the power of holy names of the Lord. Therefore, Nama Shravana is a very, very important limb. Then about Charitra Shravana. So Charitra Shravan means hearing about the pastimes of the Lord. And this verse says, in that assembly means in the assembly of devotees, the excellent streams of the nectar of the pastimes of the Lord emanating from the mouths of the saintly devotees flow everywhere. So wherever Krishna Katha is being spoken by the devotees, that place is very, very powerful. Krishna says himself, Naham tishtami vaikunthe yoginam hridayeshua yatra gayanti madbhakta tatra tishtami narada. So Krishna is saying, O Narad Muni, I do not stay in Vaikuntha, I do not stay in the hearts of the yogis. I stay wherever my devotees are chanting my names. And it is described that a devotee does not like to stay at a place where Krishna Katha is not going on. Nayatra Vaikuntha Katha Sudhapaga na sadhavo bhagavata stadashraya. Nayatra yagyesh makha mahotsava shuresh loko pinavaisha sevyatam. So Bhagavatam describes Nayatra Vaikuntha Katha, wherever the pastimes of Krishna is not being sung. Na sadhavo bhagavata sadashraya, wherever I am not getting association of devotees. Nayatra yagyesh makhama hotsava, wherever the celebrations of Lord's pastimes, Lord's birth, they are not happening. Suresh lokopi, even if it is heaven, I do not want it. Devotee is interested only in staying at a place where Krishna Katha is going on, wherever there are devotees. Because it is said, it is described that those who drink the nectar with eager ears, with constant thirst, O king, will forget the necessities of life, namely hunger and thirst. So, therefore, when we hear Krishna Katha, the glorious nature of Krishna Katha is one becomes completely satisfied. As Parikshit Maharaj, when he was hearing Krishna Katha from Shukadeva Goswami, he was not eating anything, he was not drinking anything, and even 10th canto started. That is around like last like day, 2 3 days left. He's Parikshit Maharaj is fasting for 4 days, 4 5 days. He says, "Na esha ati dussakshunmam tyaktodam apipadate pibantam tvanmukham bhoja chutam harikathamritam." He says, "Oh Shukdev Goswami, you please keep on reciting Krishna Katha and don't think I am being troubled by hunger and thirst. Because this hunger and thirst, they are not binding me. They are not troubling me. Why? Because I am drinking the nectar of Krishna Katha from your mouth. So therefore, we have to hear Krishna Katha from devotees only. Therefore, Prabhupada writes in the purport, in this section, Prabhupada writes that it is recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one should simply hear from the authorities who are actually devotees of the Lord. We see in the news and television, there are hundreds of news channels talking about spiritual things. And we may think that everybody is the same, we can hear from anyone, but Rup Goswami, our acharyas, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada was very, very strict. They are very clear from whom we should hear. If somebody is not a Vaishnava, we should not hear from them Krishna Katha, even if it is pure Krishna Katha. Even if somebody is describing the pure pastimes of Krishna, if he is not a devotee, we should not hear from him. Avaishnava mukhodgiranam putam hari kathamritam shravanam naiva kartavyam. Why? Sarpochishta yathapayah. If somebody is a Vaishnava, we should not hear pure Krishna Katha. Putam means pure. Even if he is speaking pure Krishna Katha, we should not hear. Because when we hear Krishna Katha from a non-devotee, we become affected by their consciousness. Just like we cannot drink a milk which is touched by a serpent. Although milk is nourishing, but if it is touched by a serpent, it becomes poisonous. So therefore, Prabhupada writes that we should hear only from devotees. Hearing from professional reciters will not help. We have to hear from devotees of the Lord, like that. So then, about Guna Shravanam, it is described. It is very, very important. You have to hear about the qualities of the Lord. And this verse from 12th canto says, the persons who desires pure devotional service to the Lord should hear the narrations of Uttama Shlokas, glorious qualities, the constant chanting of which destroys everything inauspicious. So therefore, attraction to the holy names, attraction to the forms of the Lord, attraction to the pastimes of the Lord, leelas of the Lord, they begin by hearing about the qualities of the Lord. Rukmini Devi, she had never seen Krishna in her whole life. She had just heard about Krishna. And how she heard about Krishna? The sages who would come to the palace of father of Rukmini, they would glorify Krishna's pastimes, qualities, wonderful nature. Rukmini Devi would hear. so upashrutya mukundasya rupa virya gunashriyah grihagatam giyamanair tanmene sadrashimpati. So Rukmini Devi, she would hear what she would hear? Rupa, Guna, Virya, and Shriya. She would hear about the beauty of Krishna, qualities of Krishna, the strength of Krishna, and opulence of Krishna. And just by hearing about Krishna's glories, she decided, Tanmene sadrashimpati, शादी करूंगी तो कृष्ण से ही करूंगी, So she made a firm determination. I will marry only Krishna. My husband will be Krishna only. So therefore, when she writes a letter, so she takes a great effort, because it is not so easy to write love letter in those times. In today's days, it is easy. Anybody can write. There are no social restrictions. But those times, it was completely different scenario to write letter proposing, giving your proposal. It was unheard of. But Rukmini Devi, she had made a firm decision that I want to marry only Krishna. And therefore, she says in that letter, Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shrindvatam te. Shrutva, I have heard about your glories, O my Lord. Just by hearing your glories, I have become attracted to you. Therefore, I am surrendering unto you, O my Lord. Please come and take me. So, therefore, the more we hear about Krishna's name, form, pastimes, qualities, the more we'll get attracted. So, as Chaitanya Charitamrita also describes, the Shravana and Kirtana, they are the water for the seed of our devotional creeper. Mali hoya kore se bij aropan, Shravana Kirtana jale kore sinchan. We have sown a seed of devotional service in our hearts. We have to water it with the water of Shravana and Kirtan. And when we hear about Krishna, then all the contaminations of the heart will be destroyed. So, therefore, when we hear about the qualities of Krishna, glorious nature of Krishna, benevolence of Krishna, Krishna is so very wonderful, so very merciful. He gave liberation to Putana. He can give liberation to anyone. He gave liberation to even soldiers who are there on the battlefield. So, therefore, when we hear about Krishna, we should not be in the mood of hearing something new. अरे नया सुनने को मिलेगा, नया कुछ बोलते ही नहीं है प्रभु जी, वही सेम सेम बोलते हैं, ये सुन लिया है हमने. No, hearing nourishes us. We have to cultivate a habit of hearing the same things again and again and again. And of course, the nature of Krishna Katha is we will never be satiated by hearing Krishna Katha. But we should not be in a mentality of searching of new things. We'll hear only if there is something new information. That is not a right way, right mood of hearing. Even if we have heard hundreds of times, still when we hear 101 time, that hearing will nourish our heart. So therefore, we have to hear to nourish our heart. So that is about Guna Shravanam. Then the 44th is expecting the mercy of the Lord. This is a very, very important limb which we have to understand, because Prabhupada writes in this section. I'll just read the statement of Prabhupada first. Prabhupada writes, this statement of Srimad Bhagavatam should be the guide of all devotees. So all devotees practicing Krishna consciousness should make sure that they know what is their guideline, how we should follow Krishna consciousness, what should be our mood and consciousness when we are practicing bhakti. So this is the verse and this is called Tata Kripekshanam. Kripa Ikshanam. Ikshana means expecting the mercy of the Lord. Kripa Ikshanam, looking forward to get the mercy of the Lord. And this is a very beautiful verse by Brahmaji. So Brahmaji is praying to Krishna after Brahmami Vohan Leela. Tattenukampam sushamikshmano bhunjanu evatmakritam vipakam Ridavagavapurbhir namaste jivete yo mukti pade sadaya bhak. So there he's saying, my dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of the past misdeeds. So this is very, very important. As we are practicing bhakti, we will suffer our reactions of past lives. We should not have any utopian idea about bhakti. By coming to Krishna consciousness, we will not suffer. No, that is not going to happen. What is should be our mood? Oh my Lord, thank you for giving me these troubles. Why? Bhunjanu evatmakritam. Atmakritam. I was suffering my own karmic reactions. But because I am serving you, what has happened? The seeds, as we discussed in the first chapter, bija, the karma bija, the seeds of sinful reactions which were not yet manifested and they are about to manifest. What happens to those seeds? Bhunjanu. They get fried. And when you fry a seed or roast a seed and sow it, it will not grow. Similarly, by the process of bhakti, all our sinful reactions which we were about to suffer, they get roasted, they get burnt. Bhunjanu evatmakritam. And Krishna just gives a token. So therefore, whenever we are suffering any reactions, any disease, any problems in our life, we should have this mentality, oh my Lord, thank you. I deserved much more, but you have minimized everything, all the reactions, you have minimized it. I am getting just a token. So therefore, what should I do? Hridvagavapurbher vidhan namaste jivet yo mukti pade sadaya bhak. So we should offer our respectful obeisances with our mind, Rit, Vak, and Vapu, with our heart, with our words, and with our body. And if we are in this consciousness, Jivet yo mukti pade sadaya bhak. Daya bhak is a very important word. Daya bhak means we become a rightful claimer of liberation. Mukti pade. Mukti means we'll go to the place where Krishna is residing, we'll get a chance to serve him. It is not an impersonal liberation. So that is a very important, because when problem comes in life of people, some people they blame God, some people they just tolerate, some people they come to this understanding, this is my own karma and Krishna has reduced this because I am serving him. So therefore Prabhupada writes, a devotee should not expect immediate relief from the reactions of his past misdeeds. No conditioned soul is free from such reactionary experiences, because material existence means continued suffering or enjoyment of past activities. So if one is finished his material activities, then there is no more birth, and this is possible only by Krishna consciousness. So we should understand that bhakti is a path of grace. Along with our endeavors, we need the mercy of the Lord. Nothing will happen without the mercy of the Lord. Just like a Chataka bird waits for the rains. Chataka bird will not drink any other water which is there lying in any of the water bodies. Chataka bird just waits for the drop of rain, and the bird is ready to suffer the thirst. Similarly, a devotee of the Lord should be very, very eager to get the mercy of the Lord. And if we have this devotional disposition, always depending on the mercy of the Lord, then surely Krishna will show mercy. The more we are eager to get the mercy, the more we will attract Krishna's attention. That is the laulyam. Yesterday we discussed about lalsa mai prarthana. Lalsa means greedy. We have to be greedy about getting Krishna's mercy. Srila Prabhupada was once in a morning walk, and he was walking near a lake with the other disciples. And there was one person who was throwing breadcrumbs, and there were so many ducks. And there was a mother duck, and she was feeding these breadcrumbs to her babies, small baby ducks. There was one small baby duck who was crying very loudly, and mother was feeding that duck more. Prabhupada said, pointing to that duck, small duck, he said, we have to cry for Krishna like this. When we cry sincerely and we urgently, with all our heart, with all our full effort and eagerness, then Krishna is bound to get attracted. It is a general experience in the home. If a mother has a small child, the small child is there sleeping in the cradle, and mother is doing her work. And in between, the child gets up, starts crying. So mother will come. She will give some toys to the child, and then if the child stops crying, she will go back and continue the work. And then, but if child does not stop, she will give something more to eat, and then she'll go to do her work. But if the child is not stopping crying, what mother will do? Ultimately, she'll come and she'll pick up the child and she'll take care of the child. Similarly, when we are taking shelter of Krishna, we have to just depend on mercy of Krishna, not anything else. I only want Krishna's mercy. I want to serve Krishna. Oh Krishna, please give me taste for chanting. Please give me taste for doing bhakti, for hearing your pastimes. When I'm chanting, I sleep every day without fail. When I'm chanting, for sure, after few rounds, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, we go to sleep. We have to pray to Krishna. Oh Krishna, please give me taste. I want to chant attentively. I want to sit at one place and chant. I want to hear your pastimes. Please give me intelligence so that I can spend more time in your service. We should be eager. That is called Tat Kripa Ikshanam. As a devotee, we ask for mercy. We don't demand it. We cannot demand from Krishna, oh Krishna, I want this mercy now. We can just humbly offer our prayers. And by our prayers we can please Krishna. So therefore we have to show our seriousness to Krishna, and then Krishna will show mercy for sure. Many times this kripa ikshanam seem intangible. Kab kripa karenge Bhagwan pata nahi. But we don't have to care for that. We have to care for what we can do. When we do what we can do, Krishna will take care of those things that we cannot do. So we cannot take care of everything. We have to take care of what we can do. Our hearing and chanting, associating with devotees, reading Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, our regular sadhana. Then Krishna will show mercy for sure. He's not a cruel God. So then the next is remembrance. Atha smritihi. We have to remember. Somehow or other, connecting the mind to the Lord is called remembrance. And there Prabhupada writes that in Vishnu Puran, it is said that simply by remembering the personality of Godhead, all living entities become eligible for all kinds of auspiciousness. Therefore, let me always remember the Lord. In Padma Puran also it is said that let me offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because if someone remembers him at the time of death, as Krishna says in 8th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smarana bhavam tyajyatyante kalevaram tam tam eva iti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitah antakale cha mam eva smarana muktva kalevaran. Smaran. Krishna is not saying kirtan muktva. We have to remember Krishna at the time of death. We cannot just chant and we should not have this thought process that bolenge to mukti ho jayegi. No, we have to remember Krishna. Somebody may be chanting, but he may not be able to remember Krishna. Therefore, we have to cultivate this process of remembering Krishna. We have to keep remembering Krishna in every aspect of our life. We have to mold our life in such a way that we can remember Krishna at all points of our life. So because when we are doing this practice, then Krishna will come for sure. Just like Draupadi, when she remembered Krishna with all intensity, Krishna appeared to protect her. That is called remembrance. Then 46th limb is meditation. So remembrance is more general, meditation is more specific. So that is called dhyanam. So dhyana means, meditation means to contemplate with absorption on what? Lord's form, qualities, pastime, and service. Prabhupada writes, to meditate means to engage the mind in thinking of the form of the Lord, qualities of the Lord, activities of the Lord, service of the Lord. Meditation does not mean anything impersonal or void. According to Vedic literature, meditation is always on the form of Vishnu. So now, Prabhupada will explain about this Rupa Dhyana, Guna Dhyana, Krida Dhyana, and Seva Dhyana. So what is this Rupa Dhyana? So in Narsimha Puran it is described that meditating on the form of the Lord starts with meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. Meditation on the 2 feet of the Lord is considered the means of attaining freedom from the dualities of this world. So therefore, whenever we go to temple, we don't have to look up directly to the face of the Lord. We have to focus our mind and senses, eyes, for a long time on the lotus feet of the Lord. So that is the glory of the lotus feet. Sanchintayed bhagavatas charanaravindam vajrankushadvaja saroruhalanchanadhyam uttung rakta vilasannaka chakravala jyotsna virahat mahadaridayandakaram. Sanchintayed. We have to meditate. Chintan. We have to meditate on the Charanaravindam. We have to meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord, which is marked with Vajra, Ankusha, Dhwaja, Saroruha. There are 18 symbols on the lotus feet of the Lord, and each has a particular purpose. When we meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord for a long time, what happens? Vajrankusha Dhwaja Saroruhalanchanadhyam Uttonga Rakta Vilasannaka Chakravala. There is a radiance, there is a effulgence which is coming from the toenails of the Lord, which we cannot perceive by our gross senses. The effulgence which is coming from the toenails of the Lord, they destroy Jyotsna Bhirahat Mahadaridayandakaram. Jyotsna, the effulgence which is coming from the toenails of the Lord, they destroy all the darkness which is there in the heart. So therefore, every limb of the Lord is very attractive, especially the lotus face of the Lord. When the lotus face of the Lord, we take darshan. That lotus face, we have to focus. If we focus on the eyebrows of the Lord, if somebody is troubled by lust, if somebody focus on that person focus on the eyebrows of the Lord, then the lust is destroyed. In this world, there is a spontaneous attraction between male and female. The worldly beauty we see agitates the mind. But when we see the beauty of the Lord, it pacifies the mind. As Rukmini Devi says, Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shranvatam te nirvishya karna vivarai harato angatapam. Harato angatap. Angatap means all the distress, all the misery which one experiences in this world gets destroyed when we focus on the form of the Lord. So therefore, we have to cultivate this habit whenever we go to temple or at our homes. We have to meditate on the form of the Lord. Take darshan of the Lord for a long time, starting from the lotus feet of the Lord. So therefore, the more we focus, the more we meditate, the more we get purified. So therefore, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he would go to Jagannath temple, he would take darshan of the Lord for a long time. And taking darshan of the Lord is like a festival for the eyes. The eyes like to see beautiful things, beautiful people. They detail all the propensities in seeing the form of the Lord. That is called Rupa Dhyana. Then Guna Dhyana. Guna Dhyana means meditating on the qualities of the Lord. So those who constantly meditate on the qualities of the Lord, they destroy all their contaminations and they become eligible to enter the kingdom of the God. So therefore Prabhupada writes, No one can enter into the kingdom of the God without being free from all sinful reactions. One can avoid sinful reactions simply by remembering the Lord's form, qualities, and the pastimes. That is called guna dhyana. So the more we meditate on the qualities of the Lord, in this world, we become attracted by seeing people. But more than seeing people externally, we get attracted more when we hear about their qualities, when we hear about their character. Externally, they may not be beautiful, but the qualities and the character of people, they are more attractive. Similarly, form of the Lord is all attractive. But when we hear about the qualities of the Lord, it makes us completely, you know, overwhelmed to become attracted to Krishna. We cannot just leave thinking about Krishna, because when we think that such a person exists who is so very merciful, he gave liberation to somebody who came to kill him. Who can be more merciful than this person? This is the guna dhyanam. And Krishna's existence is full of all the good qualities. Seita madhurya sar anya siddhi nahi tar, तीहो माधुर्यादि गुण खनि आर सब प्रकाशे तार दत्त गुण भासे यहाँ यत प्रकाश कार्य जानी. So Kaviraj Goswami writes that, Krishna's body is a quintessence of all the beauties, and he is the Madhuryadi Guna Khani. Krishna is the immutable mine of all the transcendental qualities. So therefore, we have to hear about the qualities of Krishna to get attracted to him. If we won't hear, we will not get attracted. Whole Bhagavatam is filled with so many pastimes of Krishna. Why? Krishna appears in this world to perform so many pastimes so that we get attracted to him by hearing these pastimes. That is called Guna Dhyana. And then Krida Dhyana, meditation on the pastimes of the Lord. It is said those who meditates on the pastimes, most sweet and astonishing and charming pastimes of the Lord, they attain liberation. So that is how we have to indulge our mind in hearing the pastimes of the Lord. नाना भावेर भक्तजन हमसे चक्र वाकगण याते सब कोरे नविहार कृष्ण केली सो मृणाल यहा पाई सर्वकाल भक्त हंस करोए आहार. Kaviraj Goswami says, Nana Bhaver Bhaktajan, all the various types of devotees, they are like Hamsa and Chakravat. They are like the swans and they are like the Chakravat birds. And these swans, they have a particular habit of putting their head underwater and going in the stem of the lotus. Krishna Keli Sumrinal. So devotees, they have to engage their mind in the lotus feet of the Lord. Meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord. Meditate on the pastimes of the Lord. Krishna Keli Sumrinal Yaha Pai Sarvakal. Devotee's mind always go towards Krishna's lotus feet, form, pastimes. Bhakta Hamsa Koroe Ahar. That is the food for the devotees to meditate on the form of the Lord, meditate on the pastimes of the Lord, because this is what will sustain our lives. Our devotional consciousness exists and sustains because of the pastimes, because of the thinking and meditating on the pastimes of the Lord. That is called Krida Dhyana. And then the last thing in this chapter is Seva Dhyana. We have to meditate on the service of the Lord. Not just, okay, भगवान की रूप गुण लीलाओं पे ध्यान कर लिया हो गया सब कुछ. No. Devotional service means we have to engage in service of the Lord. Bhakti means devotional service. We have to be absorbed in our service also. Constantly serving the Lord with items produced in the mind. So there is a story which comes in the Padma Purana, where there was one sage, there was one devotee of the Lord. He was a Brahman in Pratishtanpur. He was a very poor Brahmana, and once he attended a Vaishnava Katha satsang, and there he heard that Krishna can be worshipped in the mind also. If you don't have any ways to offer physically, you offer everything in the mind. Krishna accepts it. Krishna is bhavgrahi. So he said, wow, this is a good idea. This is a good way of worshipping the Lord, because I am so poor, I cannot get anything. So what he started doing, every day he would get up, take bath, purify himself by taking bath in Ganga, put tilak and dhoti and everything, and then he would sit in meditation. Every day he made a deity in the mind, because deity can be made in the mind also. There are 8 types of deities. शैली लौहिमयी, शैली दारुमयी लौही, लेप्या लेख्या च सैकती, मनोमयी मणिमयी. So the deity can be made by wood, shaili, by the stone shaili. Darumayi, daru means wood. Lauhi means metal. Lepya means clay. Lekhya means it can be painted. Saikati, the deity of the Lord can be made by sand. Manomai, it can be made in the mind. Manimai, it can be made by various jewels. So this Brahmana, he made a deity in the mind. And in the mind, there is no restriction. So he would bring water from all the 7 rivers. Gange cha Yamuna chaiva Godavari Narmade Saraswati Sindhu Kaveri. These are the 7 prominent rivers. He would get waters from all these rivers mentally, not in ordinary pots, in golden pots. And then he would do abhishek of the deity with all these waters. And in his mind, he arranged for best of the dress to be offered to the deities. He arranged for best of the ornaments, and he would dress the deities. Then he would cook for the deities in the mind with all the details. Every day he would cook for the deities, offer to the deities in the mind, and then he would honor the prasad in the mind. In this way, he was doing for years together, not a day or 2 or a month or a year. Years went by. So one day, after years of practicing worshipping in this way, he did everything. He bathed the Lord, dressed the Lord, and then he thought, today I'll make sweet rice for the Lord. So he made sweet rice with very good quality of the rice and milk, A2 milk. That time A1 milk was not there. But the milk from the cows, and then he put all the other ingredients and he made a very nice sweet rice. So Prabhupada writes that sweet rice should be served cold. It should not be hot. So this Brahmana, he thought, I should check. So he put his finger to touch in that to test whether it is hot or okay to offer. But the sweet rice was very hot. And because it touched the finger got burnt. And because the finger was burnt, as you can see in this picture, his meditation broke. And when he came out of the meditation, he saw that actually his finger was burnt. Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha, he started laughing seeing this scene. So Lakshmi Devi asked, why are you laughing, oh my Lord? So Lord Vishnu explained everything about this devotee to Lakshmi ji, and he sent his personal Vaikuntha Viman, and he brought this Brahmana to Vaikuntha. So that is the power of Seva Dhyana. Our service should be the source of the absorption for us. We have to be absorbed in whatever service we are doing directly to Krishna. When Srila Prabhupada went to America, he saw a flat bedded truck, and he came out with the idea that we can do Rath Yatra on this truck. He put Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. The truck was not big. So Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra they were not standing side by side. Jagannath facing this way, Subhadra in the middle facing front, and Balram facing left. So this is how Prabhupada was constantly absorbed in thinking about service to Krishna. That is our seva dhyan. And seva dhyan means we don't have to just think about doing seva, we have to do practical seva also. Manas puja should be done, but it should also follow practical seva. So the seva is very, very important. That is the end of this chapter. And then the next chapter begins with describing the various other aspects of transcendental service. So in this again, Srila Rupa Goswami describes 4 principles: Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam, and offering various favorite articles. So these are, all very high levels of devotional practices which a devotee can render when they reach a very high level of devotional consciousness. So we'll just go through these in a quick way. So dasyam means, dasyam is defined as offering the results of prescribed duties and acting as a menial servant. So there are 2 types of dasya which is described here. So one is karmarpanam, another is kainkaryam. So karmarpanam means offering one's activities to the Lord, and kainkaryam means serving in the mood of a personal attendant. So there are various quotations given in Skanda Puran about the first part, and the Naradiya Puran describes the second part. So this karmarpanam, it has further 2 divisions: offering the fruits of one prescribed duties in varnashram, and offering direct devotional service, that is the Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, all this, that is also Karmarpanam. And the example of Rupa Goswami, example of Sudama is given. Sudama is saying, Tasya me Saurida Sakhya Maitri Dasyam Punarjanmani. Life after life, may I have love, friendship, sympathy, and service. So these are the 2 parts of Dasya. And Prabhupada writes that offering the results of prescribed varnashram actions is considered by some to be dasya, but Rupa Goswami's opinion is only kainkaryam. Karmarpanam is not dasya. Kainkaryam is the dasya. So for karmarpanam, this verse is quoted where it is said that we have to offer our prescribed duties to the Lord, as we discussed in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in the 18th chapter, Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmana tam abhyarchya siddhim vindati manavah. So one can achieve perfection of life by offering his varnashram duties to Krishna. So the purpose of varnashram is to serve the Lord, to worship the Lord. So therefore, Krishna in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also gave various levels of bhakti. Highest is manmanabhav madbhakto, always remember me, think about me. If you cannot do that, then practice the regulative principles of sadhana bhakti. If you cannot do that also, then you offer your works, results of the work to me. If you cannot do that also, at least do some charity. So therefore here it is described karma arpana means offering our fruits of action to Krishna. That is also dasya. So there, this verse says there are 2 types of dasya: offering our auspicious things to Krishna, and offering our daily sadhana bhakti, our japa, our meditation, our deity worship. That is called kainkaryam. And then dasyam, it is described. This is a very famous verse. Ihayasya harer dasye karmana manasagira nikhilaswapyavasthasu jivan mukta sa uchyate. So this is the second type of dasyam which is described. It is said, he who has the desire to serve the Lord with karmana, manasa, and gira, with the actions, with the mind, and with the words, he is considered to be liberated soul even in this world. So this is called kainkaryam. With our mind, body, and the words, we have to serve Krishna. So therefore, in the Waves of Devotion, Dhanurdhar Maharaj, so Waves of Devotion is a commentary on Nectar of Devotion written by Srila Prabhupada. So he says that, The difference between Kainkaryam and Karmarpanam is in the attitude of the performer, not in the activities. They may be doing the same activities, but that attitude may be different. Somebody may be doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Vishnu Smaranam, but if he is doing those activities in a complete devotional consciousness, then it is Kainkaryam. But if he is offering these limbs of devotional service in a mood of Varnashram duty, okay, I have to offer to the Lord all these activities, then it becomes Karmarpanam, you know. So therefore, this Kainkarya word comes from Kinkara. Kinkara means ready to follow the orders. Kim karoti. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram. I am the Kinkara of Lord Krishna. So we call ourselves servant, but to feel as servant is a different thing, you know. So therefore, we have to internalize the mood. Just we have explained, if somebody does not call us by Prabhu, and just call by the name, sometimes we feel offended. अरे प्रभु नहीं बोल रहा है मेरे को, क्या समझ रहे हैं अपने आप? I am also a devotee. Prabhu nahi bola, So we have to internalize the mood of Kainkaryam, being the servant of the Lord. Then 48th limb is devotional service in friendship. So again, he says there are two types of Sakhyam, trust and being friendly. So Prabhupada writes that the first is to act as a confidential servant of the Lord, and other is to act as the well-wisher of the Lord. So Prabhupada, he gives a very wonderful definition of these two types of friendships. So Prabhupada writes that ordinarily the devotee sees the Lord as well-wisher, but by the preaching, the preacher becomes a well-wisher of the Lord. That's an amazing way to become well-wisher of the Lord. Generally, Lord is our well-wisher. But when we preach Krishna consciousness, we become well-wisher of the Lord, because Lord wants everybody of us to come to Him. And if we are assisting the Lord in His anxiety, because Lord is anxious to bring us back. So when we are preaching Krishna consciousness, we are telling this message to others. We are reducing the anxiety of Krishna. We are telling Krishna, oh Krishna, you don't worry. You take rest. I am working on your behalf. I am working hard to bring people close to you. That is called Maitri at a higher level. And there is in the friendship also there are two types, Vishwas and Maitri. Vishwas means trust. So in trust, Rupa Goswami quotes this prayer of Draupadi when she was getting disrobed. So she raised her hands high and she says, Pratigya tava govinda name bhakta pranasyati iti samsmritya pranan sandharyamiham. So she raised her hands very high and she says, oh my Lord, you have taken a vow that my devotee will never perish. So now please protect me. That's how I am maintaining my life. So Vishwas means strong faith or confidence in the Lord as one's benefactor. Krishna will always save me. Krishna is there. Therefore, Prabhupada writes that devotee who has confidence in the service of the Lord, he automatically follows all the rules and regulations, So therefore, Prabhupada writes that the purport is that Draupadi, as Prabhupada is telling the whole story of how Draupadi was getting disrobed and Krishna saved him. Krishna saved her. The tribulations were so severe that even Bhishma Dev, who was a great warrior, and he was so righteous, but he was not able to do anything. And then Draupadi, she called out to Krishna, because Krishna was the intimate friend. She was the devotee of Krishna. She was the relative of Krishna. So therefore she called Krishna and Krishna saved her. So that is Vishwasa. And then there is Maitri. In the Maitri, it is described that a person who has dedicated his life to serving the Lord, he sees and treats the Lord as a human. This is a very high level. This is a very high level of consciousness which we cannot even imagine and understand at present moment. A level of the devotee at this level, he thinks I am friend of the Lord. So, and he behaves like with the Lord like a friend. So this is about Mitra. And then 40th article is surrendering everything to the Lord. And this is called Atma Nivedanam. And Prabhupada quotes this Bhagavad Gita verse, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja. So this verse says a person who gives up all prescribed duties and offers himself entirely unto me becomes the subject of my special desires. He achieves liberation from birth and death. So that is the glorious quality of surrendering everything to the Lord. And there he says there are three levels of surrender: surrendering the body, surrendering the mind, and surrendering our complete self. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Manasa deho geho jo kichu moe arpilo tuapade nanda kishore. So he says, Manasa, Deha, Geha, my mind, my body, my family, everything I am surrendering to you, O my Lord Nanda Kishore. So there he says about Deha, surrendering one's body. So he says this devotee, he completely depends on the Lord, just like Srivas Thakur. He would clap. One time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, Srivas, whole day you are with me chanting and dancing kirtan, whole night you are with me chanting and dancing. You have a family, you have a wife, you have children, you have servants. How are you maintaining them? Srivas Thakur clapped 3 times. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not understand. He said, can you explain this? Srivas Thakur said, my Lord, I have firm faith and conviction that if I need something, I clap 3 times and that thing does not come in front of me, I will tie a stone in my neck and I'll jump in Ganga. That was his complete surrender. He was surrendering completely to the Lord. I am depending on you, my Lord, completely. You have to take care of me. So therefore, Prabhupada writes that Srila Rupa Goswami says that devotional service in friendship and devotional service in self-surrender, they are very, very difficult processes. They are rarely seen. They are very high levels. Only advanced devotees can see these processes. So therefore this is the 49th. Then for 50th is offering a favorite article. Whatever is dear to us, we should try to offer that to Krishna. As Krishna says to Uddhava, whatever is most desired by one within this material world, whatever is most dear to oneself, one should offer that very thing to me. Now, that is what Krishna is desiring. Krishna is saying, Nij Priya Upaharanam, whatever is dear to us, we should offer to Krishna. And then 51st is performing endeavors to please Krishna. Everything tad arthe akhila cheshtitam. Whatever we do, we are doing for Krishna. That is the 51st limb. And then 52nd limb again is being surrendered soul. So that there is some difference between the Atma Nivedan and Sharanapatti. Atma Nivedan, Sharanapatti means considering oneself completely subservient to the Lord and depending on the protection of the Lord. Atma Nivedana means self-dedication, but such dedication may or may not be with the feelings of subservience and dependence. I am completely surrendering to the Lord, but I am not completely dependent on the Lord. For example, Bali Maharaj, he's an example of Atma Nivedana, but he was not completely depending on the Lord. So he was not Sharanapatti, he did Atma Nivedan. So that is some subtle difference. And then last in this chapter is serving trees such as Tulasi. So as we know, Tulasi is very, very dear to Krishna. Seeing Tulsi destroys the sins. This verse says, What is the glorious position of Tulsi Devi? Just seeing Tulsi destroys all the sins. Touching her purifies the body. Bowing to her destroys all sufferings. Sprinkling her with water delivers one from death. Planting her bestows attachment to Krishna. Offering her to Krishna's lotus feet bestows special liberation in the form of prema. I offer all my respects to Tulasi. That is the glorious position of Tulasi. So therefore, this limb is repeated. It had come previously in Ashwathadi Gauravam also. Offering respects to trees like banyan and tulsi. This shows the importance of tulsi. If Rup Goswami is repeating this limb, that means it is very, very important. So therefore, when Haridas Thakur he delivered that prostitute, he told her, "You stay here in my kutia, in my hut, you chant 3 lakh names every day, worship Tulsi." Yeah. So therefore, serving Tulsi is one of the most important limbs of devotional service. And Prabhupada writes a very interesting commentary on this. He says, in India, all Hindus, even those not belonging to Vaishnava group, they take special care of the Tulsi tree. And he writes that even in great cities where it is difficult to keep a tulsi, people are to be found very carefully keeping tulsi. They water it, offer obeisances to it, because worship of tulsi is very important in devotional service. And therefore in Skand Puran it is said, those who worship the auspicious tulsi daily by 9 processes. What are the 9 processes which are described here? These are the 9 ways of worshipping Tulsi: seeing, touching, bowing down, meditating, glorifying, offering obeisances, praising Tulsi, planting Tulsi, serving Tulsi, and worshipping Tulsi. Lives in the Lord's abode for eternity. So that is the end of this chapter. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai. If anybody has any questions, they can ask. When problems or distress comes in our life, material or spiritual, should we have faith that Krishna will save us, or should we accept it as our karma and just tolerate the problems in humble mood? What should be our attitude? Yes, when problem comes in our life, we should do our best, as we hear the story of Damodar Leela, endeavor and mercy. We should try our best to come out of this problem and distress, but all the while we should completely depend on Krishna's mercy. As it is said, when we are doing something, we should do it in a way that everything is in my hand, and when it is done, then we should have complete dependence on Krishna. Now everything is in Krishna's hand. So Krishna, as it is said, God helps those who help themselves. So Krishna will save us. Ultimately, everything is dependent on Krishna's mercy only. But we have to endeavor to the best of our capacity. Because when Krishna sees that this person is really struggling, endeavoring, all the while depending on me. So when we are doing our chanting, our daily sadhana, so when we are keeping Krishna in the focus in our direct activities of Krishna consciousness, then when the problems will come and when we are dealing with the problems, Krishna will be there in the background. So what we are doing when we are chanting, hearing, being with devotees, are we attentive? Are we focused? Are we serious? That will decide our consciousness when we are not doing the direct activities of Krishna consciousness. So therefore, we have to depend on Krishna always, but we have to struggle and endeavor to the best of our capacity. Because when we are not doing anything, that means we are putting everything to Krishna. Krishna संभाल लो भाई, आप संभाल लो, मैं तो सो जाता हूँ जाके. So that is not a way. We have to do our best depending on Krishna for mercy, So that is how we have to deal with the problems of this world. That, oh Krishna, this is my own karma. This has come to me. Now we have to try our best to come out of it. Just like when we fall sick, it is not that we just keep chanting. You keep chanting, ठीक हो जाएगा, भगवान की कृपा होगी तो, we go to doctor, we take medicine, and then Krishna gives mercy and we get cured, So we cannot just expect that, no. It is said, nahi suptasya simhasya pravishanti mukhe mriga. A lion, even if he is most powerful animal, he has to work. A deer does not enter his mouth. So we have to endeavor to solve our problems all the while depending on Krishna, because ultimately Krishna gives the intelligence. Matta smriti jnanam pohanam cha. Krishna gives the intelligence. You do this, you'll come out of this struggle, come out of this trouble, distress. If we expect Krishna to come and solve the problems, that means we are making Krishna as our servant. So as the story goes, there was one Christian, this is a Christian story. So there was one lady, she was devout follower of God. So one time there was a flood in the village. So, all the ground was full with water. Water started entering the room, this lady's home. So she prayed to Krishna, God, oh God, please save me. And then water started rising. She went up to the first floor. A boat came, and the person said, come on this boat, we'll take you. He said, no. She said, I'm depending on God. God will save me. So the boat went. Water rose. She went on the terrace. Then, a helicopter came, and the helicopter said, you come, we'll save you. She said, no, I'm waiting for God. You go. And then water rose. She died. She went to God and said, Arey, bachaya nahi aapne. God said, I sent you 3 times people to save you. Who do you think who sent? What do you think? Who sent them? I sent them. So we should not expect that भगवान आके personally मेरे सामने प्रकट होंगे तभी हाँ भैया हाँ चलो भगवान बचा रहे हैं. No, God gives the intelligence, Krishna gives the intelligence, and we have to find the ways out of the troubles, and then Krishna will show mercy for sure. That's the way we have to deal with the problems. During chanting, since we find difficult to control the mind, is it okay if we focus on Krishna's feet and his pastimes? Actually, when Prabhupada was asked the same thing, what we have to do, what we have to meditate on, कौन सी लीला का ध्यान करना है, रास लीला कि गोवर्धन धरण लीला कि कौन सी लीला का ध्यान करना है? Prabhupada said, we don't have to do anything, we don't have to think anything. Just hear and chant. All the pastimes, all the leelas, all the form of the Lord will automatically manifest at a later stage when we become purified. At present, what we have to do? Just hear and chant. That's all. Wherever mind goes, bring it back to the chanting of the holy names. So that is the process. Okay, so anybody has any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.